Hi. Um, mm, mm, Stress. I was I was pleasantly surprised when after having a panic attack where I placed myself in an eternal struggle to reach the top, to be better, the eternal struggle to be better, which implies that I'm not good enough here. Who I am here is not good enough. But that's simply not the case. The situation is that I've built up and immersed myself into so much make-believe that I don't know where here is. I don't know how here feels anymore. Mm, Past. Okay, so what I usually do to generate stress within myself, where I speed and strain myself, always go too fast for myself to handle and to strain myself. Delusion of I must go there, I must prove myself by becoming better and improving from the perspective of, well, from a starting point of not being good enough here, inferior, thus, so to speak, kicking my own pillar of self-support and thus compromising my own stability within myself. Mm, which doesn't work because the point of coming back to my senses when I stop thinking altogether. Um, it's a point of being stable here as myself while directing myself and moving within self-stability rather than like moving from solid ground instead of trying to move myself when I haven't established a solid foundation, which is myself, to support myself from. So that foundation would be the point where I live and prove self-trust to myself, living and proving the statement that I trust myself unconditionally and I do not trust. And I stop placing my trust on things outside of me, of this world, which in my experience, without any exception, not betrayed, but everything outside of myself does not operate for what is best for me or what is best for all. Therefore, when I trusted anything and everything outside of me, I did not achieve the outcome that I desired, that I trusted the other to give to me, creating an expectation there, as well as in placing trust on others instead of myself, implying and actually living a statement of self-distrust, where I trust other people more than myself, or to place it in other words, to place it from another perspective. Distrusting myself and with nowhere else to go, trusting other people. That is exactly the situation I was systematically placed in as soon as I believed in the notion that I am not trustworthy. And that's something, in common sense, in common sense, I determine whether I am trustworthy to myself or not. Therefore, there is no choice but to establish trustworthiness within myself, because it is unnecessary to contrive this belief that I am not trustworthy, and in paying attention to that belief, believing in that belief, and placing importance on that belief, where I import that belief into myself such that it lives for me, so to speak. I delete a little part of myself. I delete a little part of who I really am, where I am here. And as those points have added up, here I am, within process, practically consulting myself and directing myself to align myself to the principle of oneness and equality, where I actually treat my neighbor as myself, as a living beingness. That point of compassion and integrity so ingrained in and as myself that it becomes who I am, like how at this moment I imagine there are still points of personality within myself which I have lived to such an extent that it has become who I am. Therefore, as long as I do not push my comfort zone, push through my dislikes, if I do not do that, I am still a personality where that habit. Okay, start over. I think I'm suppressing myself. Start over. Just like, okay, just like how I have lived as my habit for so long that it has become a part of me. So in a sense, using that same mechanism of the accumulation effect to establish oneness and equality within myself, instead of those habits that I am currently defined by, because of repeating it and believing it to be myself for so long. So, for example, I see that I have a habit of identifying myself to be cynical and pessimistic. And at a very young age, I believed that if I were pessimistic, I would be more secure. My 2 feet will be more solidly planted on the ground of reality. So rather than being realistic, being pessimistic ensured that I would not be arrogant, and I would constantly find ways to improve myself. So today is a lesson for myself to always slow down whenever anything gets too much, to slow down, breathe, listen, feel, focus on the simplest acts. So I become simple again. So that my experience becomes simple again, therefore clear, therefore enable myself to express myself. Yeah, is that all? Yeah, a lot of ums and bit of self-uncertainty after that, self-allowed and accepted, stress attack with no immediate, perceiving no immediate route for self-correction, not knowing how to handle the experience of feeling stressed. After that, a bit shaky in expressing myself. That's all. Thank you for watching.